Hello, hello, and welcome to the Unplug live coaching call for March. I am so excited to be here. I have so much to share with you today. We have some special people who are going to be talking, and we'll just talk a little bit about mindset before we even get into it. So before we even start, we'd love to hear where everybody's coming in from. If you could please drop a line in the chat, just let me know as we're waiting for some people to join us where you're coming from. Where are you? St. George, Utah. That's amazing. Playa del Rey. Love it. Chicago. Atlanta, Richmond. We've got people from all over the country. This is fantastic. And we're going to be having Central Coast. Yay. California, Indiana, Los Angeles. So happy to see so many of you here. So, mindset. I want to just kind of talk a little bit about Unplug and the app. We're all here to kind of answer any of your questions. We have some amazing questions that you've asked. If you have any more, Jelena Wallace. Jelena, you can unmute for a second and say hello to everybody.
Hello, welcome, welcome. Yeah, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and we'll go through them.
So Jelena will be monitoring any questions that you have, any things you wish for. You just put it into the chat and we'll be taking care of that. Okay, so the challenge of this month, which is personal practices of some of our favorite teachers, is really meant to inspire you to explore all the different ways that you can meditate. And for those of you who are on the call and have had a chance to explore, there is a video under the topic section called How to Use This App. And I know many of you have never even seen that, but there is so much to the Unplug app that you cannot even imagine. In fact, every single burnout tool you could ever possibly need in your life, you can find in the Unplug Meditation app, whether that is calming yourself with your breath or, loneliness or not feeling inspired or needing to focus or feeling distracted. We definitely have all of those things for all of you. LeBron James actually said that a lot of people talk to him about the physical body, but what is so much more valuable to him is his mental health. When he is playing the sport of basketball, and he credits his wins to this specific strategy, it's that he is actually fully present in the present moment. There was a moment in one of his big games where he actually sat on the bench and closed his eyes and meditated for 60 seconds. And then he got back out there and won the game, winning shot. And he said there were people in the stands who were screaming at him. They had signs that said, LeBron is LeDone. He was worried about his teammates. He was worried about the big guys coming towards him. But he decided to just clear his mind and let that all go and have it be the basketball, himself, and the net. And he said racehorses wear blinders on the sides of their heads so that they can aim towards the finish line. Sometimes we need to do the same thing in our lives. And the easiest way to get that clarity of mind is to meditate. And you have that tool to be able to just cleanse your palate, which is your brain as well, and get clear on who you are, how you want to feel, and how you want to show up every single day. So we hope that you are taking advantage of that. If you want to start off with any questions, we can easily be answering any of those. How many of you are actually doing the Unplugged Meditation Teacher Challenge right now? The challenge that is in the app where you're exploring them. And yeah, I would love to hear how that's going for you. If you could leave that in the chat, we would love to hear about that. And we also really appreciate seeing all your faces, because this group is really about connecting offline. So I'm very excited because today, I love that. I love the monthly challenges. I have loved it. I am every month, really. That's the key to consistency for me to keep showing up, is I literally wake up every single morning. I click the challenge and then I just do day 1, day 2, day 3. And now I'm almost at 700 days consecutive. So I'm so excited about that, even though I know I'm not in the top 10. But today I'm going to be sharing someone super special. I met him in the early days when I first opened up Unplug Meditation Studio, and his classes were packed because he wrote and created original content that was unlike anything you've ever heard before. He is, hopefully you got to see the article that we sent you all. He is a celebrity therapist. He is a world famous meditation teacher. And his life is just about the most interesting thing you've ever heard, including the power of listening to your own messages. So if you have not yet tried Johnny O'Callahan's My Future Self, My Ideal Life, I highly recommend it. My Ideal Life is something I technically—
He's the best.
Yep. I like the shout out. He is the best. He's unbelievable. And what's so cool is he's actually here. And so today he's going to be sharing a little bit about his story. I would love, Johnny, if you could share about Unplug. He actually was, you might recognize his face because he was a famous actor and is still. And yeah, he just is a man of many things. So welcome, Johnny O'Callahan.
Hello, nice to be here. Nice to see you guys.
Great to see you.
What would you like me to share?
I like that idea of, a couple things would be, one, your story of how when you listen to your voice, where that led you. And also, I would love for you to talk about maybe tips and tools that you share with your celebrity clients on how to deal with burnout, and then guide us through a little meditation before we go on.
Okay. Yeah, I think I started doing Vipassana meditation, 10-day silent retreats. And I began to hear I could hear the chatter in my ego, but I also began to hear intuition. I've whispers of the heart, I think different people call it. And my most famous story was I was kind of, very burnt out living in Hollywood, sort of living in the Hollywood Hills, but depressed. And I took off to Uganda. And because a friend had asked me last minute, would I travel with her? And as I meditated, I could hear my heart go to Africa. So I said yes, and then cut to, whatever length of time it took me to get to Uganda, and then a 10-hour car ride. This little starving toddler crawled into my lap, and he nestled into me, and I could hear my heart go, he's your son. And I really believe if I hadn't been meditating, I wouldn't be able to hear, like I could hear my mind go, oh, you're broke, you're an actor, blah, blah, blah. I could hear all the noise. But if I hadn't been meditating, I don't think I would have had that clarity. And of course, I believed it because I was tired following my ego, where when I was an actor at the same age as Jack Nicholson, I believe all this egoic stuff that never got me anywhere. But I found as I meditate, I really got clarity by just really hearing what to spend my time on. And that sort of continues, where I just kind of get much more clarity of where I want to focus. And I loved teaching at Unplug, and it was great to come up with some original content, I guess, or guide people on journeys. It was always to help people get out of their own way. Because I sometimes say to people, I wish I'd met me today when I first moved to LA, when I used to believe my thoughts. Like I used to believe what all those negative thoughts that were my parents or society or religion that I didn't question enough. And it was great to help people just, live their best life. I love being human. I love the Hopi prophecy. Not everyone gets to come here. And it's like I won the lottery. So I'm always like, oh God, what do I want to do today? So I like to keep, meditating really clears me, along with exercise. I think that's also important too, just to clear of any, because we pick up stuff along the way. And I think every day is so valuable. So I'm always I love ideal scenes too. I love, deciding what am I going to, I do one for each month. What am I going to do, for March? What am I going to do for April? And I decide where I want to go. I like to travel too. So it's always funny to kind of then be in the place that I was just thinking about. Of course, everything revolves action steps too, but you want to take the action from the result. You don't want to be taking action from fear. And that's sometimes what happens if we're not meditating. Again, we can't be brainwashed if we're meditating. We can really unplug and really, really experience the truth, the essence, the love that we are. And so I love everyone meditating. And I'm not sure. Do you guys have any questions? I think I'm just rambling here. I'm not sure.
Questions will come at the end.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
you're going to
okay.
guide us through a meditation, then you'll be answering the questions from
Oh, okay, okay. So Susie, of course, I love you and I love hearing. I think you're the expert now. I think you. So if you feel free to guide me in any way, and yeah, I guess I love that you guys meditate. I think it's an amazing tool to really live your best life, and I love to do that. I mean, I try and walk the talk, if that's the expression as well, you know. And again, I love seeing people, you know, truly, you know, share who they are. And so why don't we meditate, and then we can do more questions maybe in a little bit. So let's begin. Let's close your eyelids for a moment. And just take 3 deep inhales through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, we're just letting go of our day, almost the way Taylor Swift shakes it off, or our dogs shake it off. We're just sort of shaking it off. We're just letting it go, letting go of our life up to now. And just begin to soften physically. It's so important that we can begin to regulate our nervous system, and sometimes just relaxing. So maybe soften the soles of your feet, the palms of your hands. Sometimes we even grip in our eye sockets. Softening your tongue could release your jaw, maybe your shoulders, your pelvic floor, anywhere you're gripping. Maybe scan your body from your toes to your head, and just notice if you're gripping. And just breathe into that area. Just release on the exhale. Just softening, opening, relaxing. This place of relaxation, I want you to engage your mind. Your mind is so powerful, right? It's such a powerful tool. And what we focus on expands. What we think about most of the time, we pull in. So I just want you to imagine your ideal life. Just spend a few moments just imagining what it is that you want to manifest right now. What is it? Is there a particular part of your life? Is it around relationship, work, family? Just spend a few moments really being the winner in your thoughts. Really see if you can spend some time picturing whatever that is. The moment I'm manifesting my ideal birthday in May. So what's your ideal? I like to take ownership of my life. I like to co-create with life itself. So just choose an area and just begin to picture it, visualize it if you can, or sense it. Sometimes our visualization isn't as good as our sensing. That's okay. We can think about it using that imagination. To visualize your ideal. And let yourself feel, let yourself have feeling and emotion. What's that area that just needs some attention? Just picture yourself succeeding, being a winner, experiencing it. And I'm always working with life, this or something better for the highest good of all concerned. So this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'd like to experience, but I trust But life, if you've got something even better, I'm totally open. As I breathe in, I am, and exhale, joy. Breathe in, I am, and exhale, peace. Breathe in, I am, and exhale, confident. Breathe in, I am, and exhale, free. And I want you to spend a few moments. What qualities do you want to take more ownership of right now? And when you think about what you're manifesting, you're thinking about your ideal life, what qualities do you want to take more ownership of or download? They're all available to you. I love that expression, ask and it is given. So what qualities do you want that will help you today even? And just breathe in, I am, and release the quality. Breathe in, I am, and exhale, lucky. Whatever words you resonate with you. Breathe in, I am, and exhale, worthy. The more we embody these qualities, we cannot help but attract experiences that resonate with these qualities. And I always finish with breathe in, I am, and exhale, love. And from here, I want you to get an image of a tree, a really healthy, strong, abundant tree. Most beautiful, majestic tree. Really see it. And I want you to breathe it in and embody it with all of those qualities, with those deep roots traveling from the soles of your feet and the root of your spine all the way down into the center of the earth. And I want you to ground in that oneness, that connectedness. I love the idea that we're all in this together, helping each other home, doing the best we can with what we know. So I love to connect from a soul level. So we don't take it all so seriously. Our egos, when we're taking things very serious, we're usually in our ego. So it's important to connect to that more expansive part of us. To really experience, there's all these little threads connecting us all together. And just experience that oneness. We talk about it, but I think everything is experiential. It's so important that we experience that we're in this together, connecting to the planet, the animal kingdom. And then the torso and the trunk of the tree represents, again, that relationship you're having with you. So think about that relationship. It's so important how we talk to ourselves. And I want you to direct your own consciousness at yourself. Like I want you to be your own best friend. All that beautiful consciousness that you direct at other people, I want you to direct that at yourself for a few moments. If that relationship you're having with you gets mirrored back, it's so important we continue to refine. Again, what people say is a reflection of them. So that relationship with you is so key. It's so important to really love, but direct all that love at you. Upper torso and the head are the branches and leaves reaching up to the sky, connecting you to infinite possibility. And just think again about those different areas of your life, connecting to the infinite. There's infinite possibility in each of these areas. And what's your ideal scene in each of those areas? Allowing those roots to begin to also absorb what these ideal scenes might need, or whatever your consciousness needs, whatever your mind, body, heart, soul. Really allow yourself to receive. It's so important. Kabbalah means to receive. It's so important we receive. And then there's a golden light above the crown, the eighth chakra. I don't know if you've done a lot of yoga, but I want you to imagine this eighth chakra, this golden light, just cleansing and clearing, just letting go. Again, anything that no longer serves. You can maybe use a golden scissors to cut any threads to any thought patterns that you no longer want to keep in your life, or just letting go of other people's energies, other people's stuff, negativity, toxicity. Again, you're no longer championing anything that doesn't support your ideal life. And really begin to feel your feet on the ground, the weight of your body in the chair. Be aware of your breath. Really be in your body. Really experience yourself in your body, where it's safe to be in your body. It's safe to be a woman on this International Women's Day. It's safe to be you. It's safe. Safe to be anything that you want to be. And really experience yourself really in your body, because this is such a beautiful avatar, right? Such a gift. It's so temporary. Now from here, I want you to think about the next part of your day. What would be your intention now? So you've done some meditation. Where do you want to put your attention, intention for the next part of your day? So I just want you to be much more conscious about your time, about your life. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyelids and come back into the room. And if you have any questions, I'm totally here.
Thank you so much, Johnny. That was really beautiful and so nice to actually get to meditate with you live. I miss that so much. It feels so good. We're so blessed. So you're going to stick around. We're going to have a couple guest speakers speak, and then we're going to go through questions and you and I will answer that together. Does that sound good?
That's great. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Okay. So next, thank you. I'm going to be asking Sarah to be able to share her story. So Sarah, if you're able to share how you use the app, and yeah, tell us your story.
So much use of the Unplug app. I don't know if you saw my comment, but I talked about how I actually watched the Johnny O'Callahan, Suze podcast video that you both had done. And so I kind of had already a little bit of that intel about your son, Johnny. That was an incredible story. But anyway, so I came to the Unplug app. It's meditation has been something that had been, encouraged. I have a colleague that I work with who's a Zen Buddhist, and he's like, yeah, meditation. He's obviously been meditating for years. And it was just one of those things that I could not create that habit. So I work with Beauty Counter, and another consultant that I work with had been in the fashion world with Suze in New York. And so she had posted about the 7-day challenge. And I was like, okay, I have no excuses. An email would come every morning. And in order to keep myself consistent, I would share those. I'd screenshot it and I'd share it and I'd link Unplug to just keep myself in that practice. And then, I kept on going. Suze would reach out and thank me for sharing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not for you, it's for me, but it was having this ripple effect. And so as we know with meditation, the ripple effect that can happen. So I started to feel better in my body. I started feeling better because I was having trouble sleeping. I was anxious. I didn't mention this before, but I work at a maximum security psychiatric hospital. So it can be a stressful place with an all-male population. So I really found the benefits on my physical health and wellness. And then when the pandemic hit, we had been, inundated with, okay, how are we going to handle this? And at our facility, not having our patients access the treatment that we would offer, or the different locations in the facility being really how do we manage as staff to help them? And so Suze and I kept in contact all this time. We had become friends at this point because it was several years now into the Unplug app, my usage. And she offered to do a training. And that training was the best attended training that we've had. It's during lunch. So it's like you have to really want to do this training. And it had such a positive impact. And I really was like, I've got to figure out a way to, share meditation even more. And so I obviously have kept up using the app and ended up going in to do the training after doing Suze's training at our facility. And I became a year ago Unplug meditation teacher through the training with David G, which has been incredible. And now I get to share. I'm kind of creating our mini Unplug at the hospital. We're doing videos of meditation so that our staff and patients can utilize those. I provide meditation for staff twice a month during lunch just to share. And, it's just had an incredible effect on my life. And then, now I'm doing trainings for the hospital meditation and what I learned from the class. And I just use the app all the time. Just yesterday, actually, I was talking with my mother. She's 75 and she's getting to the gym and she's like, I just really don't like it. And, but I know it's good for me. And I was like, well, Mom, you should do the hypno habit for exercise on the app, because I got her the app. And so I just sent it to her right before this call so she can start, getting into her practice. But yeah, the impact has been profound, and it was all from a 7-day challenge.
Thank you, Sarah. I think, did Suze freeze her too?
I'm back. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. And I love hearing the fact that that's what's so amazing about the Unplug app. You pick it up and you have no idea. She didn't even meditate before she started. Now she's teaching the people inside the maximum security place, that's an amazing story. I love it so much. Our next person that I'd like to introduce is Shannon Hansen. Shannon reached out and, we noticed that she'd been meditating a lot on the Unplug app. So we invited to speak. This is my first time really connecting with you, Shannon. It's so nice to meet you. You're muted.
Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you. So tell us.
Hello, everyone. So I feel like I'm kind of late to the meditating world. My yoga teacher, who I have been doing yoga for years, she would always say, let's meditate. And I'm like, let's don't. Because I felt like I couldn't get out of my head enough to do it. But then I've realized that I'm okay if I don't get out of my head. And I feel like every morning, and Suze, I have you to thank that you kind of got me to doing it every morning before I get out of bed. That's just my ritual now. And it's like I have the most amazing day. Even if my day is crappy, it's better because I have meditated. And I think the kids that I'm a nanny for appreciate the fact that I've kind of leveled out in my anxiety a bit with it. So I've actually kind of gotten them to do it as well. So I just, it's just a thing. And I feel like I know all the teachers personally, because I feel like every morning, because I do all the challenges too. I think, that's my thing. Whichever one is that day, for whatever reason, I feel like it is just meant for me that day. For whatever reason, whatever is going on in my life, it just speaks to me. And so I really learned, I was very thankful to learn how to breathe, because I feel like I always kind of used to hold my breath. And I have a confession that, so I had a panic attack the other night, in the middle of the night, like woke up at 4:00 in the morning, just like almost full on about to have a panic attack. And I just remembered that I did this breathing exercise, the box breathing exercise, and I actually calmed myself down enough to not go in full on panic mode, and actually got back to sleep. So, I mean, it is amazing. And I kind of went off on a limb I guess probably about a month ago, and I got the word breathe tattooed on my arm. So I can just look at my arm and I can remember to breathe, because, you know, it's all about the breath. To me, it is. So that's kind of my story.
I love that story so much. I love the fact that you were able to get yourself out of fight or flight with the box breath. And I also like that you tattooed breathe on your arm, because when I was doing Johnny O'Callahan's meditation, I was thinking 2 words. I'm like, discipline and focus. Like, those were my words that came up during that meditation. I'm like, I should tattoo that on myself. Thank you for sharing your story. And
thank you.
Now teaching yourself based on what you've learned from the app, I think is gorgeous.
Well, and I try to, like, when I find one that I really, hone in on, I try to send it to a friend. And I tried to, I had a friend call one day, and she was kind of in a panic mode, and I don't think I did it very well, but I kind of tried to teach her the whole box breath thing. So I think it just has this ripple effect. And, just like I said, I'm so grateful for this community and all the teachers, and I literally go, why didn't I just, listen to my yoga instructor years ago, and I would, have already been so much farther along. And one day I am going to take the teacher training. I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that it is, still going to be around when I can, fit it into my life. So thank you all very much for your time. And I got to give the Unplug ladies and gentlemen, if there's any out there, your employees are simply the best. I mean, because some days I might have a glitch because I'm not very tech savvy. And I go in panic mode because I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta be able to meditate. And I will shoot off an email, and I'm on the East Coast. So I'm 3 hours ahead of you all. And y'all are like Johnny on the spot, answering emails, getting back. So, I mean, y'all have the best customer service of any business around. So I so appreciate that.
Thank you. I think it comes from a place of the people who actually work here love what they do and really genuinely care. Jelena is like the #1 leading of the customer service support team. So she's amazing. And Claude is really fantastic too. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Next up, I'd like to invite Dr. Cindy Stevens. Hello.
Hi, everybody. I am a professor, and being a professor is more than just grading papers and teaching classes, because you research, you have scholarship, you have to give service to the university, you have to give service to the community. And by the time you walk out of the university, there's nothing left. And I was also in the middle of being in the sandwich generation. So I have my kids, even though they're older, but then my parents I was taking care of too. And I wasn't finding any of that peace or presence that I needed. And luckily, Suze connected with Beachbody and got a program on Beachbody on demand called Unstress. And I started that. And I think it was about the 3rd time I went through the 21-day program that I said, I need to get this app. So I jumped on the app, was meditating daily, kept posting, and Suze would reach out to me and say, you should think about doing this teacher training. And I kept saying, well, my mom's going through dementia. I've got to take some time. And then she reached out again, and then I had just lost my mom. And so the next time she reached out to me, I went ahead and did the teacher training. And so I am so glad that I did, because not only did it teach me how to teach meditation, it has increased and expanded my own practice. So I use the app in the morning. I meditate every morning with David G. right when I wake up. I mean, I do the rise, click, meditate, and I meditate with him. Once I get going with my day, I always then do the monthly theme, and then I'll probably do the featured one too. And then I do my own meditation.
I said, wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, I do my own meditation in the evening when I'm done working, right? Because I learned how to do that. And then at night, I use Justin and let's just get you back to sleep every night. And that's even my husband said, aren't you turning that guy on again? So I do that. But I also, every meeting that I go into at the university, I teach them a new breathing habit. I have athletes at my university literally now playing in tournaments in Florida. I've got pitchers and catchers and batters all doing tactical breathing right before they go on. I have basketball players that do that right as they're at the free throw line. Also, I've taught them ways to combat the stress while they're doing test taking and to shut them down. And I feel so bad that the panic attack almost hit Shannon, but I just had an MRI, well, 3 MRIs at the same time just last week. And it was 2 hours in the MRI machine. And the lady said, I have never seen someone that still. And I said, that's because I was doing breathing through the whole way. I was just breathing through it. And she said, but you weren't moving. And I said, well, I had to do it in my zone. So I'm just thankful because I have the app. I share the app. I definitely feel connected with the app. So, I watch the podcasts also. There's more podcasts on other places that aren't on the app. So I've been searching for those. And I'm just thankful. And Suze has become a friend and a mentor to me. And I was lucky enough to be with her yesterday on a call. And I just have to say that every day I open that app and it's like a new day because it's exciting to see what's there. So I'm thankful and I appreciate everything. Absolutely everything.
I love that so much. And I love that I got to get to know you on a deeper level. And also Sarah during the teacher training. Shannon, I'm excited about your story too. I want to just add really quickly, there are 2 meditations, Panic Attacks Be Gone on the Unplug app and David G's 16 Seconds to Calm, which shows the box breath. So if you ever want to share that, those are the 2 to share. Okay. Johnny, you still with me here?
Yeah, I am, yes.
Okay. So this is going to be the section, and there's a couple of things that I want to do is, one, we're going to answer a bunch of questions that people are asking us. I'm going to throw it to you. You can answer them. If you could answer them quickly, that would be amazing, as quick as possible. And then if anybody wants to kind of share their story, we would love to hear it. So just let Chelina know in the chat. If we have time, we'll add you on because this is what this is all about. It's about building a community of like-minded people and taking this thing off of the platform and into real life. So that's why we do these coaching calls every single month, because we really want to get to know you and understand you and also give you what you need. So if you say that we're missing something on the app, we are going to get on it and offer it to you. Okay. So Johnny, any tips on how to remember to meditate when anxiety hits?
I mean, I love the 777. I do 7 inhales through the nose, out through the nose, 7 through the nose, out through the mouth, 7 through the mouth, out through the mouth. I find that.
Can you say that slower so we can all get it?
We can do it together if you want.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. 7 through the nose and out through the nose, 7 through the nose, out through the mouth, and then 7 through the mouth, and out through the mouth. Let's go. Let's do 7 through the nose, and out through the nose.
Oh, I think I get it. You're saying 7 breaths through the nose.
Yes.
Then
Then
7
7
breaths.
through the nose, out through the mouth, almost with a letting go sigh.
Okay. And then 7 just through the breath.
Then 7 through the mouth.
Okay. So 7 through the nose, 7 through the nose, and then out through the mouth, and then 7 just with the mouth.
Yeah, I find that will put the thinking, whatever you're anxious, like, because when we're in we're in an anxious state, we're futurizing, and we're not the winner in our inner future thoughts. That I find that will put the thinking in the background, and you'll become very present. Also, I teach a lot of TM meditation or Vedic, so just the repetition of a word, too. Again, it's redirecting. It's getting your mind off the whatever the subject is that's bringing you the anxiety.
Okay. The next one, and I'll answer some of them, is tools to forget the past. Johnny, that one's for you. What's a quick tool to?
Well, I love forgiveness. I mean, I also teach clients to freeform write every morning. It's similar to the artist's way, but it's a like to write out whatever's bothering them and then rip it up. And you'll notice that there's probably a lot of judgments in it, what you're saying. So it's a lot of forgiveness. I love the forgiveness tool of just forgiving the judgments I have. And that sort of, whatever memories or whatever from the past can, I also think when you're meditating, the memories bubble up, right? And if we're staying in a loving state with them, they tend to heal. They tend to dissolve by themselves. The more we can just sit, it's just when the things happened at the time we weren't in a loving state, and they sort of got recorded inaccurately. So
What are the best meditation practices post-trauma?
I think any kind of meditation in general. Again, for me, I started with Vipassana, so I'm very much hanging out with myself. I like the box that the lady mentioned as well, and breath work is also a great gateway. But again, hanging out with my mantra, just repeating my word. I keep going back to simplicity. I think going back to whatever ritual I find that the more I show up for myself, each day on a consistent basis, that I'm less traumatized, I'm less impacted. I find like you build credit in the bank, so I'm able to handle life much better than. So it's so funny. Some of these questions, like, oh God, anxiety, what's that? I'm realizing that I do a lot of talk therapy, so I do a lot of listening to people in more longer form. But I think if you're meditating every day, especially in the morning and in the evening, I think you can really navigate a lot of this territory with much more grace and ease.
I'll answer this next one. How can you move past a long history of traumas when therapy, et cetera, is too costly insurance-wise for your budget? What can we do at home to learn and heal? There is an entire playlist on the Unplug app called Soothe and Heal. Just go on there, and even if you chose to make that your playlist of the month, going through all of those, you will not believe what you will discover when you do that. So I highly recommend that. My mom was on our last coaching call, and she was talking about how she'll binge a teacher. If she finds a teacher that she loves, she'll basically treat them like an author. When you read their first book, you want to read everything they've ever written. That's how she treats the Unplug app. Someone also asked the question, Johnny, why do we have so few Johnny O'Callahan meditations on the Unplug app? And would you consider doing, she didn't say, would you consider doing more? I'm adding that in there.
Yes, I'd like to. It's just finding the time to do it. But yeah, I'd love to. Again, my meditation has gotten more simpler too as the years go by. Mm-hmm. It's very, it's really just hanging out, because again, most of what we think is not true. So it's really just sitting in that presence, that love. So I'd love to sort of do some more updated versions too.
When I've had a really stressful week and I feel like my nervous system is on overload, I have a really hard time letting go of tension and tightness. Oh, I have a good one for that. But do you? Johnny? What's the best strategy?
Maybe the body scan, relaxing physically, relaxing just, your feet, your hands, your eyes, your jaw, your shoulders, your pelvic floor, the body scans.
Body scan is amazing. And we have so many of them on the Unplug app. If you just search underneath the section called body scan, you'll find that. But we also have another one called tense and release, which is a phenomenal meditation where you tense up all your body parts for, is it 10 seconds, Delina? I can't remember how long it is. And then you just release it, but you'll be guided through that. And it just relaxes every part of your body and takes you out of your head. Okay. When you meditate on your own, do you always have a plan for your meditations? Do you ever just meditate freestyle? And what happens? Look at that to you, Johnny.
Yeah, all the time, on airplane, anywhere. If it's sometimes, in traffic, I can close my eyes. I know someone will beep me when the meditation is done. So yeah, I like to meditate anywhere and everywhere. I love the ritual gets me into the practice. So I do have rituals when I'm at home, but I tend to travel a lot too. So, because my work is generally online. So yeah, I'll meditate anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, and for me, I do a little practice that I'm actually going to be sharing on the Unplug app under teachers' practices, and it's called GAS. Do you like that? Because we need to refuel ourselves, just like you said, Johnny. G is for gratitude. A is the affirmation. So I compliment myself. And then I'm going to silence. And that's like a great, simple recipe to freestyle if you ever want to take that one.
I love also intention. I just like intention. I'm always redirecting. So if I'm in some place that's not ideal, I'm always I'm always driving, if that makes sense. I'm driving my life. I'm going to go, no, my intention is this. So if I'm driving and I felt, oh, maybe I'm getting nervous or anxious about something, my intention is to get there safe and sound. I'm always redirecting too in those moments. So I think it's a lifestyle meditation, like it's throughout your day.
Yep. Since the pandemic, I've lost my motivation for everything. I go to therapy, I take antidepressants, I work out daily, I meditate, I do it all. Any suggestions?
I mean, question your thoughts, but free form writing, I think, is an amazing tool. I don't think you need therapy if you actually free form, just write out all the garbage that you're thinking, like whatever she's thinking, and then rip it up, as I said, shred it, burn it. It takes too long to burn it, I find, but it's, get the stuff out of you. Stop carrying, that stuff and go. And again, that word unplug, keep trying as best you can to unplug, to really kind of experience your truth. I think our essence is love, and our work is to really get back to that. I think we're born whole, perfect, and complete. We just get lost. So I think she's just lost connection with her truth. And it's sitting still can find that, or whatever joy, whatever makes her laugh, whatever people, sometimes all those safe people in your life too. I find they're all like your team of people that calm your nervous system too. Like who are your safe people that just love you no matter what, but love you unconditionally. If you can't love yourself unconditionally, definitely go to those people that do love you. Maybe that's what she needs, more love, maybe a little more love. Maybe.
We'll send it right now.
Yes.
One of the things that you can also do when you're feeling burnt out and you feel like, some people are like, oh, I'm doing too much. And then I stop, I shut it down, and they're still feeling burnt out. And one of the biggest tools to help you overcome burnout is to actually switch it up and do something that you find interesting, learning, pottery, or something that's different that makes you feel joyful, where you actually are doing something new that energizes you. So closing your eyes and asking yourself, what makes me happy? And then wondering, when was the last time you did that thing that makes you happy? So for me, pickleball makes me feel energized, and it makes me feel so happy. And whenever I play it, I'm in the most joyful state. So that helps me when I'm feeling burnt out. Sometimes I meditate every day. I can do all the right things, eat healthy, meditate, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you need to do something that's just fun for you. So finding time for fun is really important. And also, some people are saying, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. One of the things you should really think about is, how much time are you spending watching television at night? How much time are you spending mindlessly scrolling? And yesterday on our call, Sarah, we asked that question, how much time do you spend watching television at night? And the answers that we got were 2 to 4 hours. Okay, well, that's 2 to 4 hours where you could be doing something fun that energizes you, where you could learn another language. You could do so much in that time that we're wasting every day. Okay, I think we're getting close to the end of am I missing anything, Jelena? There was one about weight. Hold on. Okay, yeah. How to change the mindset of dieting into a healthy relationship with food and still lose the extra weight. I have a tip on that, but Johnny, do you have one?
And what I do, I love a food log. I like keeping track. I mean, I'm more practical. I love results. So I'm like very much about being in calorie deficit if I want to lose weight. And so a food log I find really helpful. That and again, most of what we think is not true. So I keep questioning some of these negative thoughts, and I celebrate where I'm at. Like meditate, create, celebrate each day. It's also, I think it's important to love where we're at. It's hard to create change if we're in resistance. So it's really loving and then taking different action as well. Like I do questions up there the other day. I was like, is that, you may judge this, but I was like, I was going to get a chocolate croissant. I was like, oh, I don't want to waste my calories on that chocolate croissant. So I question too. I don't just let myself go on autopilot.
I love this so much. Someone's asking, first of all, happy International Women's Day to everybody who's on here, who's identifies as female. Welcome to the club. And also, where can you watch this recording? It is going to be live inside the app. We keep these recordings on there so that you can revisit them. But Johnny, I just want to say what you just said about loving ourselves and that you're questioning these negative thoughts. That's not even something I would have thought of. Like, of course, we should be questioning, maybe you probably don't even need to change anything, but you might just see yourself and identify yourself as something that's just simply not true.
Yeah, question everything. I mean, it's, again, most of what you think is not true. Most of the negatives, I would take that as a blanket statement, and choose what thoughts you want to linger with and hang out with. But it's celebrating where we're at, like really experiencing the now, because that's where the joy is, really connecting, really being here, really being present. Because we all think, oh, when our weight changes or when we're in a relationship, it's all this futurizing. It's not true. It's the now. It's really experiencing the now. And I think that's love. That's the love within us and the love all around us. And it's just, that's who we are. And meditation is just tapping us into that. The more, if we can't get into it by ourselves. Go ahead.
No, that's amazing. I want to also mention that there is a hypno habit for healthy eating. If you are interested in that, on the Unplug app, there's a hypno habit for weight loss. There's a hypno habit. Actually, there's something by Sahara Rose where you visualize. It's a whole guided visualization. That one's really interesting. But one thing that I did recently that really helped me is I actually went on another app called Mind Valley. I don't know if any of you have ever gone on that app, but I did this program called Wild Fit, which was so interesting. It was the first time I was able to kind of change my relationship with food, and it was wonderful. So I do recommend that. And also the Lose It app, which is one where you can just track your weight, track what you ate. It scans your food if you want to kind of see what you're eating. Because if any of you are like me, I would forget to eat, and then I'd go home and I'd grab a box of cereal, eat it like that, and literally shovel food, and I didn't even know what I did. So that really just kind of will help wake you up. This is amazing. Does anybody fit is not a size or age? Yeah, body. You're right.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, as a parent, Johnny, how do you incorporate meditation for your children, as they were growing up? Because how old are they now?
Well, my son is 21.
Yeah.
He meditated as a toddler. We would meditate, and a lot of it's questioning, a lot of questioning thoughts. I mean, which I think we meditate, so our whole day is a meditation. And I love, just that relationship with ourselves. So teaching my son how to love himself was sort of key, not to be in resistance to himself. And that was why I share that little story sometimes where when he was younger, he was like, Daddy, I want skin like you, because my son was born in Uganda. And I was like, oh, you already did that. We talked about reincarnation. You've already been white. You did that. In this lifetime, you chose to be brown. And you could see him like recalibrate. So it's always been about whatever stories, like the mind's a storyteller, and whatever stories made him a winner. We kept, and when between 1 and 7, you can implant these beautiful stories when they're so young. It's harder as an adult, but so yeah, he really loves himself. That was whatever resistance I removed, so he could really enjoy life and enjoy himself. Of that, so meditation became our life. It wasn't just for those 20 minutes. Would thought is everything. So if that answers it.
Beautiful. So I would love, we have about 4 more minutes left, and I want to just start by saying thank you. Thank you, Johnny, for taking so much time out of your day, for guiding us all. For those of you who've never meditated with Johnny, definitely check out his meditations on the Unplug app and experience him on a whole nother level. You could probably, do you have a website, Johnny, also?
I'm so under the radar.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you are ever interested in anything with Johnny, or private or something, keep in touch with us.
Contact Suze.
Yeah, we'll connect you. And I want to thank all of you for showing up, because that's step 1. And we are here doing these live coaching calls because we want to be able to answer any of your questions that you have. And we wanted a place where we can really show up for each other, so that, stuff comes up when you meditate. So we're here for you. If any of you are interested in going to the next level, like Sarah and Cindy, Unplug Meditation Teacher Training is actually launching on Mondays, and I'm taking calls all weekend long. So if any of you want to schedule a call, just email Jelena@Unplug, or go on to unplug.com and you'll see teacher training and you can apply there. And lastly, as we wrap this all up, I would love for you to all show your faces. I want to see you. I want to know you. And we can stop the recording for those of you who are intimidated by that. And I want to just say thank you so much for those of you who then watch this live. We look forward to seeing you soon.